Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Bahashem Kakodash. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father, who worthily calls God. His name in Hebrew means He exists, and Yahweh Shai is the name of His only begotten Son, who were ignorantly called Jesus Christ. And His name in the Hebrew means He is deliverer. By Shemesh in the name, Kakodash is the Holy Spirit. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessing unto the sincere servants push forward the truth throughout the four corners of the earth. I want to say shalom to your brothers and keep pushing. And a double shalom to the Israelites that's looking like the other nations that are sincere about them. I want to say shalom to your brothers and sisters as well. My name is Dwight from the Jim S. Line St. Louis camp, and I'm coming back at it with another video. And in this video, I'm entitled this, Babylon is ready to fall, more U.S. tariffs, okay? So Babylon is ready to fall, more U.S. tariffs. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video, and I'll pull some precepts and lowest edifying and fair use. I'm not doing this video of any monetary gain, just strictly educational purposes only. So I'm within my rights under the 1976 Fair Use Copyright Act. So I'm going to pull some precepts and lowest edifying. So let's get it.
CNN breaking news.
And we begin with the breaking news from Wall Street. Trading has been underway now for just about 30 minutes, and nervous investors, very nervous investors, are weighing in on President Trump's historic new global tariffs. The early assessment, deep concerns. Almost all goods entering the United States will face a new tax of at least 10%, and that means inflation-weary Americans will see even higher prices on virtually everything. And that adds to the deepening concerns among economists that the U.S. and indeed much of the world may be on a collision course with a recession. Let's begin this hour with CNN business and politics correspondent Vanessa Yurkevich in New York, watching all of this unfold. So Vanessa, where do the markets stand right now?
Wolf, markets are tumbling as investors are really digesting worse than expected tariffs. You have the Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&P all down below, as you can see there, 3%. Retail stocks in particular really selling off. Nike, Adidas, Lululemon, these are companies that source a lot of their goods from abroad, countries that are now under higher tariffs. And just look at the countries that were hit in yesterday's announcement. You have the European Union, 20% tariff. You have Japan, 24%, China, 34%, and Vietnam, 46%. Key trading partners to the U.S. Investors are worried what this means for businesses, and then, of course, those businesses' profits. But let's just reset. What do we know right now? We know that there are auto tariffs in effect right now. But coming on Saturday is that 10% universal tariff on Wednesday, higher tariffs on about 60 countries, tariffs on auto parts, foreign auto parts on May 3rd, and then maybe coming additional tariffs on lumber, semiconductors, and I'll add copper there as well. And as you mentioned, Wolf, there is talk of what this could mean for a recession. I just spoke to an analyst who says that the longer that these tariffs stay in place, the more likely that there will be a recession. We also heard from Mark Zandi from Moody's Analytics, who said if they follow through, if these tariffs go into effect, I'd buckle up and brace for impact. A recession seems more likely than not. Wolf?
All right, Vanessa Yurkevich in New York for us. Thank you very much, Pamela.
Well, Wolf, the White House and Republican lawmakers concede that the ripple effect of the tariffs will cause some pain to Americans. But the White House says it's the initial cost to revive manufacturing jobs in the U.S. Here's what the vice president said this morning.
For 40 years, we've had an economy that rewards people who ship American jobs overseas and raises taxes on American workers, and we're flipping that on its head. We're going to cut taxes for American workers and for American companies that build here. We're going to make it harder to ship American jobs overseas. It's a total shift in the way that we've done economic policy in the United States of America, but it was necessary.
I want to buy your house. I can pay you cash for your house, no matter what condition it's in.
All right, let's go live now to CNN White House reporter Elena Trina. Elena, what else are you hearing from the administration this morning?
Well, Pamela, it's clear that the White House has been very intentional in its messaging. You know, despite some of the president's defenders, Republicans on Capitol Hill, others who have argued that the president is a pragmatist at heart, that perhaps he would pull back on some of these tariffs, it's clear they were wrong. The president was serious about this. And as Vance just laid out, and as we've heard from other top advisors this morning, he is committed to these tariffs really because he fundamentally believes the United States is getting taken advantage of, and he wants to really break the trading system that has been built over the last 70 or 80 years now and see this realignment. Now, we heard from Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt this morning. She was speaking with CNN. She said that, you know, this isn't going to be a negotiation. This is a national emergency. Listen to how she put it.
The president is firm in his approach, and the president is ensuring economic stability here in the United States of America. This is a common sense policy, and if these countries wanted to negotiate, if these countries wanted to do what's right, they've had 70 years to do it.
I think, Pamela, the end of her answer there, saying they had 70 years to negotiate, is really key here, because that's the question now. Where do we go from here? We're going to see, as Vanessa just laid out, all of these different countries likely respond and in kind to these tariffs and retaliate. That could further escalate this trade war now. And so that's really the key question. One thing as well, just as we watch the stock market, is that the president has been far less reactionary to how the stock market is in this term, in his second administration, than in his first. We have been told repeatedly now not to see him react to the stock market directly because of this. Instead, he has said repeatedly now that he believes there will be some short-term pain. So I'd keep that in mind as well as we cover this. Pamela?
All right, Elena Trina, thank you so much. Wolf?
All right, Pamela, as we mentioned, analysts now.
It's pretty crazy, right? And this is just, you know, another step towards World War III. It's another step towards the breaking of the U.S. economy. It's another step towards Yahweh Shemiah Shai cracking the clouds and coming back and saving his elect. Okay? And the men of the Lord, we all for it. Because the faster you Edomites move with your agenda, okay, to enslave all humanity, which y'all did a good job of doing that, you know, because everybody here in America is a slave unless you are an elite, okay? And all these other different countries, you're saying that this is trying to make the economy better, but this is really going to crash it. Because you Americans, you done built an economy off the backs of these other nations like Mexico, China, South America, UK. You know, all these different goods is coming from these other different countries, and that's just to put more money in your pocket. That's not to help the world. You know, you getting labor done at cheaper prices, okay, in countries that wasn't as strong as you. That's the reason why you did it. All right, and you took a lot of the U.S. factories away, and so now you have to build all that again, and it's not gonna work because it's gonna implode right in your face. Because little do these Edomites know, when you oppress a nation, all right, which mainly the children of Israel, when you oppress a nation, and from them oppressing us, that goes into their own people getting oppressed. And this whole school system is trash anyway. So now these people don't know what to do with their lives. You know, they are 5 years old talking about some, they want to change their gender. All right. Yeah, I feel like I was born a woman. I'm a woman trapped inside of a little boy's body or some shit like that. Okay? That's what these 5-year-olds are doing. All right, and you Americans, you just not ready for that. You're not ready to see the real world for what it is. And these other countries, they already see. You know, you got other countries. I forgot who it was. I think it might be France. Yeah, like over there, like some of them Eastern Europeans. It's like it. Some of those Eastern European countries. You know what I'm saying? That that said you gotta prepare for war. Shalakia, throwing off. So let's start off with Jeremiah 30:7, and it reads, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it." Right? So it's the time of Jacob's trouble. And who is Jacob? You Israelites, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And the reason why this is happening is because, first and foremost, we supposed to be on the top. You Edomites are not supposed to be on the top. Right now, the Lord got y'all on top because he has to bring you down. Okay? And this is all prophecy according to the scriptures. You know, you was going to live with the sword. You was going to get the fatness of the earth. And the Lord was going to bring you down. In the book of Obadiah. Okay? So let's start off with Revelation 6. It's Revelation 6:1. "And I saw the Lamb open one of the seals, and I heard, as it were the voice of thunder, one of the four beasts saying, Come and see. And I beheld, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went for conquering to conquer," right? And that's talking about Yahweh Shai. You know, he was on that white horse. Okay? White represents everything that's pure. Okay, you Edomites are not white. Y'all different shades of red. You know, you don't have no pigmentation in your skin. The second seal, war. "And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, Come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given to him a great sword." Right, so that red horse represents who? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Okay? Because the Lord gave him that power, you know, goes into our forefather Isaac. But if you can receive that, that's Yahweh Shai. He gave him the blessing in Genesis the 27th chapter. Okay? Third seal. "And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I saw a voice in the midst of the fourth beast say, A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine." Right? And it goes into what? Hyperinflation. Because back then, the money system was calculated through what? Pounds. Okay? Ounces. Okay? You even still got other countries that still do that. You know, you got the British pound. Okay? Which they are part of the 10 horns. And when I heard, it's like when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, Come and see. And beheld, and looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him, and power was given unto him to take the fourth part of the earth, to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. Right, so yeah, so death. Okay? And that's the pale horse, you know, death. Because death is literally going to be a spirit. Death going to be in the air. When he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of Yahweh and for the testimony which they held, talking about the elect. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? And white robes were given to every one of them, and it was said unto them, They should rest yet for a little season, until their fellow servants also and their brethren should be killed as they are, should be fulfilled. Right? And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth, the hair, and the moon became as blood. Right, there goes into those blood moons. Because Yahweh Shah said, you know, there's going to be signs in the heavens. You know, you got super moons, blood moons, etc., etc. And the stars of heaven fell into the ground, even as the fig tree cast her untimely figs, and when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their place, right? So heaven departed as a scroll. That goes into what? That mushroom cloud. Okay? Let's look that up. So yeah, so the mushroom cloud. It looks like a scroll. You know? Cause it goes into scroll. Heaven departed as a scroll. Like something like that. You know? Because you got to remember, this is written like what, over 2,000 years ago. So there was no such thing as a bomb or whatever. So they described it the best way how they could. And every mountain and island were moved out of the place, right? Because when those nuclear missiles hit, it's going to change the whole geographic scene. Yep. And the kings of the earth and the great men and the rich men and the chief captains and the mighty men and every bondman and free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Right, so kind. And that goes into these elites that's going to hide themselves, because hey, they're going to escape the nuclear destruction, but they're going to get sifted up out of those bunkers or whatever, wherever they at, you know, and they're going to be the first fruits of slavery. And so this is 2nd Esdras 15 and 14. And yeah, these American Edomites say they already ready. They already see what's about to get ready and happen. Okay? To their country. So they already preparing. They're getting guns and ammo and building bunkers and, you know, putting armor on their trucks and stuff like that so they can fight, because you already know. So 2nd Esdras 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power, right? So they ain't gonna give a fuck about what these governors and politicians and police and whoever say, man. They gonna feel like, hey, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do when I want, you know, because the law is gonna literally be in your hand. Because if somebody wants to kill you that day, they gonna have the freedom to do so, you know, or at least try, I should say. It says, a man shall desire to go into the city and shall not be able, for because of their pride, right? The pride, because you Americans are prideful, the city shall be troubled, the house shall be destroyed, the men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. All right? So, yeah, everything is going to go up, man. Because, hey, a lot of these car parts, they made in China. Okay? So how the hell you going to get your damn car parts, man? And a lot of, you know, damn near everybody drive a foreign car, a Honda, a Nissan, a Toyota, whatever, man. All these other different cars, man. They love foreign. These Americans love foreign cars. Volkswagen, which is a foreign car, is a German car. Okay. And so yeah, all those different car parts come from different countries. So how the hell you can get your car fixed? You know, if everything is so damn high. You know, because that trickles down all the way down to to the bottom man on the totem pole, which is the regular American people that they go to work at Jiffy Lube, to stop at McDonald's, you know, they work at Starbucks, okay, all that, you know, it's literally gonna be impossible. So that's gonna cause a big commotion in the world. This is Revelation 17. And I'm going to start at 12. Revelation 17 and 12. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, right? The 10 kings. That goes into the EU, European, the UN, the United Nations, which have received no kingdom as yet, but received power as kings, 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength to the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords, King of kings, and they that are with him are called chosen and faithful. Right? Right, so yeah, that war in heaven. You know, it's gonna be Satan, which is the so-called white man, I'm gonna say, which is the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan. You know, because those are his people. Okay, versus Yahweh, Shai. All right, and his elect. You know. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the horse sitteth are people and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Right? So you're going to have these European nations shooting missiles on America. You're going to have India shooting missiles. Most definitely China, Russia, all these other different countries, Canada, all these other different countries that's gonna be shooting missiles, okay, on America, man. They're gonna straightly just rape this hoe, you know, just rob her and rape her. So yeah, it's gonna be crazy, man. It's gonna be crazy. And you Americans, man, you're not ready for it. You're not. And it shows in your actions. So Obadiah, verse 1, the vision of Obadiah, that said the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. The pride of thy heart have deceived thee, that thou dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high. It said in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? So whose habitation is high, right? So these skyscrapers and buildings, okay, that goes into whose habitation is high, because you know, like a concrete jungle. It says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. Right, so the Lord is going to bring you Edomites down. Okay, verse 10, and it's because it is, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. And the day thou stoodest on the other side, and the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was one of them, right? So even you was one of them. You know, after Nebuchadnezzar came in and burnt our temple down and our city down to the ground, okay, you came and finished it off, okay. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger. Neither shouldst thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldst thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Thou shouldest not have entered to the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Neither shouldest thou have stood on the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. Right? So you did all this, man. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen, right? All the heathen, but especially you Edomites. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thy own head. But as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually, right? So continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. Right, so all you nations that have been in power, you know, these last few thousand years, okay, you had a lot of time to build an empire because you're not under the law, statutes, commandments. So how about Shemi don't jack you up for doing your bullshit and child sacrifices and eating abominable things and worshiping these idols, okay? You're going to be as though that you had not been, you know? Because, hey, all these landmasses, they getting new names. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. Right? So that includes you heathens. It says, the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them. And there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it. Yep. And they of the south shall possess the Mount Esau, and they of the plain, the Philistines, and they shall possess the fields of Ephraim and the fields of Samaria, and Benjamin shall possess Gilead. Right? And the captivity of his hosts of the children of Israel shall possess that of the Canaanites, even unto Zarephath, and the captivity of Jerusalem, which is in Sepharad, and shall possess the cities of the south. And saviors shall come up out of Mount Zion to judge the Mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Lord's, right? So come. And that's that. So I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekakodash, Shalom, and Baba Ball.